Jason Momoa is speaking out on Amber Heard keeping her role in Aquaman 2, and sources close to Jason are saying Jason always believed Amber deserved another chance.
I just want people to be aware and not have the wool pulled over their eyes, and so
it's official. Amber Heard will return for the upcoming movie Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, despite Johnny Depp's fans and their vicious campaign to get Amber canceled. Back in June 2022, Johnny Depp won his defamation case against Amber, and while Johnny initially enjoyed overwhelming public support, a lot has happened since then, and public opinion is finally shifting in Amber's favor. Meanwhile, Johnny was recently exposed by the director of his upcoming movie for being incredibly rude and arrogant, and fans are saying we all collectively owe Amber an apology. Multiple celebs have also come forward to offer their support to Amber, including her Aquaman co-star Jason Momoa, who recently revealed why the Aquaman producers decided to keep Amber in the upcoming sequel. So what did Jason say about Amber? Did he always believe she was telling the truth about Johnny?
it struck such a place in my heart, and there's certain things I just didn't know about.
It's been almost a year since Johnny Depp won the infamous defamation trial against his ex-wife Amber Heard, and people are finally starting to realize how disgustingly biased the media was towards Amber. You would think that saying that he wants to F Amber's dead body would be enough for people to realize that Johnny Depp is a deeply disturbed individual.
After you said, "Let's drown her before we burn her," Mr. Depp, you said, "I will f her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead." That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her. Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes.
And you wrote that about the woman who would later become your wife.
Yes, I did.
However, despite this and many other pieces of evidence showing that Johnny Depp should not be anyone's idol, his fans put him up on a pedestal, and at the same time, they started a hate campaign against Amber on social media that was unlike anything we've ever seen. Now, regardless of what you think about the outcome of the defamation trial, no decent person can look back at all the stuff that was going on social media and honestly say Amber Heard was treated fairly. Even if Amber did defame Johnny in her 2018 Washington Post op-ed, which is what the trial was about, that doesn't justify what Amber was subjected to in the media. As one fan recently pointed out, people are so good at looking back at misogyny a decade ago with Britney Spears or Pamela Anderson, but when misogynistic backlash against people like Amber Heard or even people like Hailey Bieber is happening right now, suddenly they can't recognize patterns. What's also really messed up is that the attacks on Amber didn't stop after Johnny won the case, which further proves that Johnny's fans were more interested in humiliating Amber than getting justice for Johnny. 2 months after the trial ended, Johnny's fans crowdfunded over $3,000 to release more than 6,000 pages of unsealed trial documents, hoping these documents would reveal something nasty about Amber. But these same documents ended up painting Johnny in a very bad light. The documents revealed that Johnny had sent a series of highly disturbing texts to his buddy Marilyn Manson, and the two of them discussed creating a cave of some sort where they seemingly planned to force girls to do some depraved things. The documents also showed that Johnny and his team planned to show the court photos of Amber with no clothes on and to use her past work as an exotic dancer against her. According to the documents, Johnny also intentionally manipulated recordings of his arguments with Amber, and he refused to provide unedited versions. Johnny's fans thought these documents would make Amber look bad, but the opposite happened, and public opinion slowly started shifting in Amber's favor. And now, almost a year after the trial, it looks like fans and fellow celebs are finally starting to realize that Amber Heard didn't deserve to be publicly shamed. And one of these celebs is apparently none other than Amber's Aquaman co-star Jason Momoa, who reportedly fought to keep Amber in the upcoming Aquaman sequel. The trailer for the upcoming movie Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was recently shown at the CinemaCon 2023 event, and yes, Amber is coming back as Queen Mara. And while the official trailer still hasn't been released to the general public, Warner Brothers confirmed to the media on Wednesday, April 26th that Amber is indeed reprising her role. So why did the producer decide to keep Amber despite the huge campaign from Johnny's fans to cut her? Well, the Deadline Hero Nation podcast asked Aquaman producer Peter Safran if he and other producers were aware of the petition to remove Amber from the Aquaman sequel. Safran said that obviously everyone knew Johnny's fans would go insane trying to destroy Amber's career. However, he and other producers didn't care one bit about their unhinged demands. I don't think we're ever going to react to honestly pure fan pressure, Safran explained, also adding that keeping Amber was what's best for the movie. Safran also went on to say that he was indeed aware of what was going on in the Twitterverse. However, he was never going to bow down to fan pressure. Safran said, "You have to do what's right for the film, and that's really what we landed on. We felt that if it's James Wan and Jason Momoa, it should be Amber Heard, Saffron added. But speaking of Jason Momoa, how does he feel about Amber returning as Queen Mira? Well, according to sources close to Jason, he is thrilled that the cruel campaign of Johnny's fans didn't work out because he apparently never believed that Amber was the main villain in that relationship. But that's not all. Reports also recently emerged that Jason personally fought to keep Amber in Aquaman 2. According to one producer, Amber was almost cut from the sequel. However, Jason Momoa and the director James Wan were, quote, committed to her, and they were adamant she stayed in the movie. And judging by the reaction from fans on social media, the tide has definitely turned in Amber's favor, and fans are happy to see that she didn't lose her role in Aquaman despite the narrative that was being pushed by Johnny Depp stands for almost a year. In fact, even people who originally believed Johnny are now saying that they were wrong and want to apologize to Amber. One Twitter user who was very vocal during the defamation trial tweeted, "I owe you all an apology. Last year when the Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard trial was happening, I believed Johnny Depp was the victim. I see now with more evidence that Amber Heard was indeed the victim, and I regret everything I have said about the case last year. I wasn't using evidence. I was using the context people were giving me like a total idiot." However, another Twitter user said that no amount of apologies will make up for what Johnny's fans put Amber through. Amber Heard is a human being, but you treated her with less humanity than you would an animal during the sham of a trial, this person wrote. No amount of apologies will ever be enough to fix the damage you caused to her, to victims, to our collective psyche. I hope the shame eats you alive. As for Johnny's diehard fans, well, predictably, they are absolutely disgusted with Amber on social media, and they're desperately trying to defend their idol. However, it's getting harder for Johnny's stans to prove their point, because people who actually work with Johnny are now coming forward and exposing the real Johnny Depp. One of these people is French director Maïwenn Lebesco, who recently worked with Johnny on the upcoming biographical drama about French King Louis XV. Maïwenn recently said in an interview that filming with Johnny was challenging because he was always late for his scenes and she wasn't even allowed to knock on his door. "I was not allowed to knock on his dressing room door," Maïwenn said. "One day I did it anyway, and there he made me understand that I had committed an unacceptable intrusion and asked me how I would feel if he came knocking on my dressing room door." Maïwenn then told Johnny that actors knock on her door all the time and no one really has an issue with it. However, Johnny reportedly caused a huge scene about this and made everyone super uncomfortable. And while Maïwenn tried to justify Johnny's behavior by saying that this was probably a case of cultural clash and that American actors are maybe not used to her style of directing, many fans took to social media to say that this has nothing to do with American versus French actors and that this was simply Johnny being Johnny. One fan said, "So his team and him gaslit her into thinking unprofessionalism is an American thing and not a Johnny Depp thing?" And another person added, translation, "He acted like a spoiled man baby but somehow made me feel like it was my fault." Fans are also saying this is just more proof of what a master manipulator Johnny Depp is, which explains why he managed to convince the whole world he was Amber Heard's victim. "Johnny Depp stans are so stupid it's almost funny," one Twitter user said. And another one wrote, "She really got the last laugh. Amber Heard is our Mira." But let's hear your thoughts on this. How do you feel about Amber returning to Aquaman 2? And why do you think Jason Momoa fought to keep her in the movie? Comment down below, and we'll see you in our next video.